That's an important fact because in 2018 we sent you as an ambassador with a diplomatic passport, with immunity to move around the world, in normal ways, with no difficulties, as it should be, according to the international conventions. Governments are obligated to respect the diplomatic immunity of all officials recognized by the government internationally. It doesn't matter if they are governments, friendly governments or enemy governments. It doesn't matter. For that, there's international conventions. In 2019 and 2020, in 2020 we had a crisis, a gasoline crisis. Due to the blockade, we couldn't process the oil. Not because we were incapable to do that, but because we had no resources, no material, no raw material. They wouldn't even sell us raw materials. The situation was very difficult. In 2020, I remember I traveled in March. That was my first mission, to purchase oil and gasoline. Also traveled to purchase food and medicines. I faced many troubles to return to Venezuela at the moment, but I managed to make the ships and products to reach Venezuela. In 2020, I traveled for the third occasion in that year. Normally, I would travel through any international country through Argelia. Argelia denied the landing permission. At the moment we were even flying. We had to search for options. Pilots said that Cape Verde was the only option available to land. They warned us a few hours earlier when Argelia refused us to land in their airport. We had to make that stop in Cape Verde. I was due to reach Iran, but we had to stop in Cape Verde to recharge or I was like 40 minutes in the highway waiting for the plane to recharge. I never traveled with my family in a mission, but my son, my oldest son, was with me. My son had contracted COVID, and he wanted to come along with me, so I don't have to travel alone. He was due to wait for me at the hotel. We were both together in the plane at the moment when two officials, rushing aggressively, say my name. I said, yes, I'm Alex Saab. I'm a diplomatic from Venezuela. No, they say, no, I don't care who you are. You have to come with us. He started to push me out of the plane with no shoes on. They took me to the stairs of the plane. They keep pushing me. The only concern I had was my son. I yelled my son, go, you need to go. I also said, this must be a mistake. They know I am a diplomatic, and they know I have immunity. I couldn't believe what was going on. They put me into a car. I'm still yelling to my son. They cover my face up, and they take me. I think they take me to a salon at the airport with my face fully covered. They take me to some space at the airport. They say they need my credit card. They open my suitcase and take my credit card, my wife's credit card, because I had no credit card on me. I was sanctioned. You were already sanctioned. Yes, I was. I was sanctioned in 2019. In 2019, there was a campaign to morally destroy, and for Alex Saab to retire from the activities of support of Venezuela and all these fights to overcome the blockade. You were attacked since then. In July 2019, I was sanctioned. My sons, my brothers also were sanctioned, who didn't even have any link to the government of Venezuela. The sanctions, they were sanctions because they were relatives of mine. Since 2019, I was sanctioned for working in the system of food, the food system of Venezuela. That was the objective of the empire. You are, at this moment, you are kidnapped and with your face covered. They say they are going to purchase a visa for me. They purchased a visa for the entry to Cape Verde with the credit card of my wife. That's when the time of the purchase was registered. There was no Interpol announcement, no previous warning. It was a fully kidnap with no cause, with no elements of accusation. They took me. They only wanted to take you and kidnap you in the most horrible way. That was one of the proofs that was used during the Court of Coas, that failed in 2 occasions on my favor, ordering my freedom in Cape Verde. Illegally Cape Verde. No. Cape Verde didn't listen to that call of freedom for me. What happens next? That first night, I was put in jail. No one spoke to me. The next day and night, I had no food, no water. At midnight, they start to talk to me, and they urged me to sign my voluntarily extradition to the United States. I refused. Then the control is they handcuff me and seat me in a chair. They put out a towel. They put a towel on my face and start filling my face with water. So I had the sensation of drowning. They tortured me for over 2 hours. That was the first torture I received. In order for me to sign the extradition and made declarations against the government of Venezuela. They didn't say anything to me at the moment. They do not achieve their goal. So the next day, I was taken to a judge. that same day. The same torturers take me to speak to a judge. I was threatened, so I couldn't understand the judge. It was in Portuguese. At that moment, I was so overwhelmed. The judge took her face mask off, and I identified myself. I said I was on a special mission. That was registered in the tribunal. Since I was kidnapped, I had no communication. 48 hours I was brought in front of the judge, and I explained to her that I was in a special mission, that I was a diplomatic. They took me to a prison with no charges, no explanations. They took me to a prison in the South Island, which is in the middle of a desert. That's where the prison was. I was put in jail again. I spent the night in that jail. The next day, I was taken to the airport, and I thought immediately, well, I am going to be extradited. No one explained anything to me. I can hear the engines of the plane. No one explains anything to me. They made me go upstairs of the plane, and when I'm seated in the plane, I say, I'm drowning. I need to breathe. I need to. When they took the mask off of my face, still no one is speaking a word to me. I didn't know where I was going to. The island, to another prison in San Vincent, in an island that is called San Vincent. They again put me in jail, a dark jail with no bathroom. I had no communication with my family. I was in the worst conditions, not even a bathroom. When I needed to go to the bathroom, I could only be out of the jail once a day. In a bucket. I had to go to the bathroom in a bucket. The first day I had no water. During the second day, I had no option. I had to drink water. That's when I started to go on a hunger strike. I said I was not going to eat anything, but they said, okay, we are not going to give you anything. My family Camila managed to spoke to the people. At the 6th or 7th day, they managed to bring someone that brings me food. They received the person at the door of the prison, and then they reached the food for me. I was in total darkness. Sometimes I couldn't even see my